Hello to all my friends out there. So the comments were good, and one of the comments was, what is a climate lockdown? So I want to mention this now while it's on my mind. So I mentioned to you guys that I live in my car, so today is the day I'm eating my vegetable beef soup. I like this kind. So if you had to survive on this, there's vegetables and there's a little beef. Once you get used to eating this, food is getting expensive, so if you have a lot of food, like cans, start eating them down. Crackers. Let's see if these are the wheat. Now saltine crackers makes the wheat. Yeah, these are the wheat. These are good. I started the car dwelling. Where's my soda? I'll be right back. I think I left it on the roof of the car. Something fell. Oh, it was my bracelet. Sorry. I admire those places where you can drive out here. If I tried that, I would die. I bought this yesterday. You have to take a few minutes and put the clasp on right. So it can be done, but of course I am too lazy. Oh, I'll show you the necklace I bought yesterday. What I do is I wear the stuff, and if someone buys it, that's okay. I just take it off my neck and send it to them. So one of the things I look for, I want to show you this crazy necklace. It has kind of like a magnetic thing. The eye. Some people go, those are evil. Yeah, well, evil jewelry is the prettiest thing. All right. Now, oh no. Oh, here it is. So out here, the utilities are really high, you guys. Like how high? Like $500 a month. Now, like in the place I live down now, it cools down, as soon as the sun goes down. I live like on a hill, and it will cool down, and I don't know why, because I have a hill in front of my place and a hill in back of my place, but the air goes in there and I can cool my place down in a matter of minutes. And then I'm very nocturnal, so I don't go to sleep until really, really late. And so the only time I'm using my air is when I'm sleeping, which is hardly ever. So, okay, so now what is a climate lockdown? Okay, if we have climate disasters or climate dangerous storms and stuff, the people could be asked to stay in the house. Okay, so prior to the COVID, if someone said, oh, we're going to have a lockdown of any sort, I go, yeah, right. Well, now you say shortages, supply chain disruptions, etc. And I say, uh-oh, I better prepare. So, okay, these are in no particular order. So let's start out with summer. Okay, I think at the end of June, possibly, the rent moratoriums are running out, or possibly before. So we have this in the city of San Diego. They're saying this hot weather, which is deadly, like 105, 107, is not lasting weeks or a month, is lasting months. Well, out here, no one has to tell me that, because I know the hot weather lasts until the day after Halloween for some reason. Because I used to work in low-end shops, and they didn't like to run the air. And then they wondered why they didn't have any customers. So, who could this hot weather be very, very deadly to? The seniors and infants. I bought something just now at Walmart. I bought this for my son's desk. It's called Arctic Blast. So I asked the lady, where is it, and have you heard? She goes, well, last year we had a lot of returns because it has to be right on you. So I thought, well, I'll buy it for my son's desk. Out here, when the heat gets very, very bad, this is one of the things that's bothering my insomnia. It's cool, but it's not a natural cool, and everything disrupts my sleep. Or like infants, So what happens when people can't afford $500 utilities? And so could it come to that? What do you mean could it? It already has out here, depending on the size of your house. I have the vaulted ceilings. So, okay, so the heat is going to cause fires, which causes all kinds of trouble, which could cause blackouts, which could leave you in the heat with no air conditioning. The blackouts I have endured here, of course, were in the dead of the summer, and also the deadly fires come about September. So and the other thing is, a lot of renters, the landlords pay the water. If you haven't been paying your rent, or if the landlords haven't been paying their rent, you could turn your faucet on and no water. I actually had a dream last night of faucets, and I thought, my God, I hope it wasn't one of the followers. Of all things, you have to pay your water bill. Okay, so the deadly heat. So these are in no particular order. Climate lockdown. So if the climate became deadly, they could call for you to stay home, but you got to watch out for that too. Okay, I've seen a little news on the collapsed building, and they're saying that possibly it was a sinkhole on the side of the building that collapsed. In Del Mar, we had one, and the firemen actually screamed. It was so alarming. So, you have to say, okay, is my structure sound? I am very lucky because in my backyard, I have 2 drains. So, hopefully something like that wouldn't happen. So, it would be deadly weather first, and then a call for staying in. But you have to be careful in something like that. So you're told to stay home, stay in, and then they reverse 9/11, and you don't have enough time to escape from a flood, a sudden flash flood. So what you have to know is you have to know the waterways. I think it was Life with Patty mentioned some evacuation because of the Orville Dam. They say in California, if the Orville Dam was to be breached, every dam in the state would go like dominoes. So in the state of California, you have to say, is where I'm living, could I withstand 12 feet of water? So in the last 2 places I lived, the answer was yes. Remember my balcony? Okay, so sudden deadly storms. You guys heard about the prophets, and a lot of people might say those prophets are ridiculous. Well, they've been prophesying, do not wait run for shelter immediately. So in China, they had a sudden deadly storm. It came on suddenly, and there was runners, and I guess one of the runners was deaf. And so, you know, the storm hit and several of them were killed. So the prophets are saying, run, don't walk. So and if you have that in mind, okay, like on this sinkhole thing, they don't always know. Like in the sinkhole in Del Mar, which was super serious, a guy wanted to go into his house and get something, and they said, no, and he said, I insist. So he did actually enter he could have been buried in mud. So these runners were killed in these sudden storms. Also, they're reporting gigantic hail. Okay, we had 1 day of rain. So, and it included hail. I have a skylight, and you know, it was coming down really hard. But they are reporting this deadly hail the size of golf balls and larger. And they've reported that in the past, storms have literally beat little towns down to nothing, leaving the town in rubble. So keep it in mind, at the first sign, run for cover. Or if just north of you, because the water usually runs, the waterways. The water runs from north to south. Like here, it runs down to the Gulf of Mexico. So you want to evacuate. If we've had sudden storms on Alvarado Hospital, floods, Alvarado Hospital parking lot. Okay. Also, they're reporting that they're able to remotely control your thermostat. Okay, you're going too high and too long on your temperatures, and they're remotely controlling them. And you go, well, could that ever happen? Yeah, I think it could. So you want to take matters into your own hands. What am I going to do? Well, where I live now, I can survive because it's pretty cool up there at night. Also, like in these power outages, like in the summer, I know someone who had a baby that died from the heat. You can't save them. We had evidence of power outages in Texas, and guess what? No water. Yeah. So what I'll be investing in is the Walmart, the largest ones. And the other thing is just keep your bathtub really, really clean. And at the first sign of trouble, or even if your bathtub is not clean at the first sign of trouble, fill your bathtub. So we're watching for floods. They usually run from north to south, but not always. Tornadoes. We've had some treacherous tornado seasons, like 29 tornadoes in one night. Blizzards. My mother's mother died in a blizzard in Elko, Nevada. She went outside and then the blizzard hit and she couldn't, they found her hanging onto the fence, trying to get back home. So like I have it must be hereditary, a fear of blizzards. In Elko, Nevada, the houses in the olden days, the snow would cover the roof. So you figure, okay, I'm 60 years old. Well, I'll figure it this way. My mother was the youngest, so less than 100 years ago, this happened. So if no one came to get you out of your house, could you get out of your house? Would you have food? Would you have water? Hurricanes, fires. Okay, and then the rent moratoriums. The landlords, could just be sick of your ass and turn the water off. They really could. Okay, and then if there's a power outage, you have to figure out what is going to happen with my food, because all your food will be destroyed in the freezers and refrigerators. Also, they want to limit the CO2. They want to limit the gas. They want to limit all the fossil fuel type stuff. So one of the ways they can do that is they can just, okay, they say the gas is up for a few cents, but I'm telling you, it has doubled. A lot of things have doubled. They're admitting to 5%. That is not true. Okay, now back to the heat. Oh, what is so bad about the heat? Trouble growing crops, that's what. Okay, you know my little garden in the backyard? The heat beats down on it so hot that you'll notice that my plants have been fried. So I thought, okay, I will water my plants at 2 o'clock in the morning, and then when I get up, I will water my plants. Well, guess what? When I get up, the plants are bone dry. So imagine you have acres and acres. It's going to affect the crops. It's going to affect the livestock, because livestock have to have plants. The livestock have to have water. The water would probably go to the plants first. So then they have to cull the herd, before they're fattened up. And so what we can expect is an increase in beef. Also, there's like these subtle messages about chickens. So I think it was last week, I bought a $5 bag of chicken legs. So I'll be buying a couple more of those. Okay, and so what they're predicting is less calories in food worldwide. And I told you I had a dream, and it was like somewhere like India, and it was a pallet of food like on a car or something, and the people just running to the side. So I think these famines and depressions can last a long time, like 10 years, like 20 years. Okay, and another thing it's going to be smart to do is to stockpile clothes. Enough for 10 years if you can. And so they're expecting less calories worldwide. So, I was watching these ministers, and they're saying, well, you want to eat good food once a day. Okay, I knew a guy who was literally starving, and he went to a park, and they gave him a sandwich, a fruit, or a small salad, like 3 vegetables, and a can of Coke. And in a short time, he started to come out of it. Now, when we have the fires out here, there's a huge loss of resources. Government money, private citizens' money, and it's just very devastating financially. And so where does the government get this money? Well, they get it from the taxpayers. Now, there's another worrisome thing. The water would go to the plants first and then to the humans, or to the humans first and then to the plants. And another thing is the street people out here. Rule 1, if you've been following me, park in the shade. Just like run for shelter. And I see the homeless, and they're out there in the beating sun. Yeah, there's not much. Like in this parking lot, there's one tree. These other trees are not providing any shade. So there is like one place in this whole parking lot, basically, where you could get some shade. That's why I don't have the sun beating in my face. So start getting these habits now is I'm not going to let the sun beat me down. I'm going to stay out of it. I stay out. One of the ways I prevailed when I was doing hair is because I was stuck in the shop from 8 to 8, so I wasn't using any utilities. I think it's almost 5 o'clock. It doesn't get dark here until almost 8, 9 o'clock. Now the water for the homeless. Okay, they have pretty much shut down all the drinking fountains around here. What happens when they start shutting down the restrooms? Where are you going to go get water if you're homeless? You do not want to live in Arizona. You do not want to live in Las Vegas if you're homeless. It's very, very bad. Another thing is like products that contain water, the price of those will go up. Like what? Soda. So what I'm doing is I'm just buying a couple of bottles of the Walmart soda for 74 cents, every day. And I'm buying a bottle of bottled water. I'm buying another thing. If you stockpile, I'm going to be dehydrating my vegetables. I'm going to cut